On the banks of the Nile River in eastern Sudan, there exists a collection of stone and granite pyramids that tower towards the sky. These ancient monuments, reaching heights of nearly 100 feet, stand as a testament to a once great civilization known as the Kingdom of Kush. Despite their grandeur, these pyramids have been largely overlooked and remain unknown to much of the world. Situated about 120 miles northeast of Khartoum, the Sudanese capital, these pyramids are remnants of the ancient city of Meroe, the former capital of the Kingdom of Kush. This powerful civilization ruled over the region of Nubia for thousands of years, stretching beyond the Nile River. Like their renowned counterparts in Egypt, the Kushites constructed monumental structures to honor their deceased rulers. In fact, the Kingdom of Kush rivaled Egypt in its greatness, with its pharaohs exercising control from Khartoum to the Mediterranean Sea. However, the history of this civilization has been relegated to obscurity, while Egypt's rulers and monuments continue to be studied and celebrated. In Meroe, there are more pyramids than in all of Egypt combined, yet they have not received the attention they deserve. For generations, these awe-inspiring monuments and the people who built them have been dismissed. Fortunately, in recent decades, archaeologists have begun to uncover their secrets and shed light on this remarkable civilization. The story of the Kingdom of Kush traces its origins to the city-state of Kerma, which thrived in Nubia between the 25th and 15th centuries BC. This rural and agricultural society, initially consisting of only around 2,000 people in the urban center, built impressive structures out of mud bricks for religious and funerary purposes. Meanwhile, in Egypt, the Grand Pyramids were being constructed in honor of the pharaohs. Around 1500 BC, the Egyptians expanded southward and conquered Kerma, bringing their culture to the people of Nubia. Under Egyptian influence, new buildings were erected, and a temple was established at Jebel Barkal, a mountain bend in the Nile. For 5 centuries, the pharaohs ruled over the region, and the Kushites embraced elements of Egyptian culture. Rituals dedicated to the Egyptian god Amun were hosted at Jebel Barkal, and intermarriage between the elite classes of both kingdoms occurred. However, the two groups were also depicted as racially distinct in contemporary art. Following the decline of Egypt's new kingdom around 1070 BC, the Kushites emerged as the natural successors to the pharaohs. The third king of Napata, Pianki, set out to conquer the northern kingdom, ultimately succeeding and establishing the 25th dynasty of Egypt, known as the Black Pharaohs. During their reign, the Kushites revived traditional Egyptian practices, including the construction of pyramids to honor their rulers. The Kushite Empire expanded its territory into the Near East, and the kingdom thrived under the rule of successive kings. Over time, the Kushites faced invasions from the Assyrians in the 7th century BC and were eventually ousted from Egypt. They retreated to Napata, but even this city was not safe from rival empires' assaults. The Kushites then moved their capital to a new city called Meroe, located 200 miles southeast of Napata. Positioned at a crossroads between Africa and the Mediterranean, Meroe flourished as a trade center, benefiting from the fertile soil irrigated by the Nile. The region's abundant resources, such as gold and iron, further elevated the status of Meroe. In Meroe, a distinct Kushite culture developed, influenced by both Egypt and other African and Greco-Roman cultures. The kings of Meroe, like their Egyptian counterparts, built pyramids as tombs, although these pyramids were steeper and not exclusive to the elite. Wealthy individuals could opt for burial in these grand structures. While smaller than the pyramids of Giza, the number of pyramids in Meroe far surpasses that of all of Egypt. Despite the rich history and cultural significance of Meroe, the region remains relatively devoid of tourists. The Kingdom of Kush, centered around Meroe, thrived for centuries and was home to remarkable rulers, including warrior queens like Amanirenas, who repelled the Roman army. The Kushites developed a sophisticated civilization, complete with pyramids, temples, and an adapted version of Egyptian religion. In recent years, efforts have been made to bring attention to the ancient pyramids of Meroe and the rich history of the Kingdom of Kush. Archaeologists continue to unearth new discoveries, shedding light on this once-forgotten civilization. It is a testament to the enduring legacy of the Kingdom of Kush and a reminder of the vast and diverse tapestry of human history. Throughout the centuries, the Kingdom of Kush thrived and developed its own language while sustaining trade routes. However, in the 4th century BC, the power balance in Nubia began to shift with the rise of the Roman Empire and the emergence of the Kingdom of Aksum in present-day Ethiopia. Additionally, climate change also played a role in the decline of Kush, as it did for many ancient civilizations. Despite building more pyramids than the Egyptians, the Kushites have often been overlooked and their achievements underappreciated. Racist attitudes prevailing in academia during the early 20th century contributed to this oversight. One prominent example is George Reisner, an Egyptologist from Harvard University, who visited Nubia in 1916. His investigation into the Kingdom of Kush led him to conclude that it was merely an outpost of the Egyptian Empire, dismissing the idea that Kush had its own complex society. Such prejudiced views hindered serious study of the Kushites for decades. Fortunately, not all scholars shared Reisner's beliefs. In the 1960s, Charles Bonnet, a Swiss archaeologist, conducted excavations in Sudan, focusing on the remains of Kerma. He recognized the independent significance of Kerma, challenging the prevailing notion that it was an extension of Egypt. Bonnet's efforts gradually revealed the truth about the Kingdom of Kush. However, the damage caused by earlier racist attitudes had already taken its toll, and the Kushites have struggled to claim their rightful place in history books. Furthermore, accessing Nubian sites has posed challenges for researchers, leading them to prioritize other, more accessible areas for study. The construction of the Meroe Dam in 2004 further complicated matters. While the dam brought progress and hydropower to the region, it resulted in the flooding of significant historical and cultural sites along the banks of the Nile River. Archaeologists worked tirelessly to salvage what they could before construction, unearthing valuable artifacts and a pyramid believed to date back to the Kingdom of Kush. However, the completion of the dam displaced thousands of people and submerged much of the land surrounding the Nile's fourth cataract, potentially causing irreparable damage to Kushite sites. Despite these challenges, some archaeologists remain dedicated to exploring the Kingdom of Kush. In 2018, archaeologist Piers Paul Kriesman visited Nuri, aiming to expand on earlier work. Rising water levels, caused by construction projects like the Meroe Dam, climate change, and intensive farming practices, pose difficulties. Kriesman and his team had to don diving gear to explore the ancient ruins, eventually discovering the tomb of Nastism, one of the Kushite Black Pharaohs. This untouched tomb holds the promise of revealing insights into the rulers of Nubia 2,300 years ago. Activists continue to speak out against further hydropower projects that threaten Nubia's ancient relics, hoping to preserve them for future generations. The Kingdom of Kush deserves recognition and appreciation for its remarkable achievements, and with ongoing research and discoveries, it may finally receive its rightful place in the spotlight. Subscribe for more updates.